Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2023 or Pokemon Horizons the series anime episode review. This time I am talking about episode 2, so let's get to it. The episode begins where the previous one ended, with Liko and Sprigatito suspended in midair due to the force field generated by the pendant, which protected them. Surprisingly, for both them and for us, they end up face to face with a brand new Pokemon who soon becomes the pendant. Since the force field is gone, Liko and Sprigatito fall towards the ground, but they are thankfully saved by Charizard and its trainer, who tells Liko and Sprigatito that they should not be so reckless. Liko realizes that she has been telling Sprigatito the same thing, so she finds it weird that she would act the same way. But she realizes that since so many weird things happened to her recently, maybe she is now weird too. But at the same time, she feels that something has begun. So, Charizard and its trainer bid farewell to the bad guys that they were battling since the previous episode, and they fly off with Liko and Sprigatito. As they fly, Liko sees that the night sky stretches endlessly beyond the school, and she recalls that she willingly leaped into said night sky where the moon looms large. She recognizes that she could only do this because she had Sprigatito by her side. So she tells Sprigatito that it's amazing. Now I love that Liko happily reaches out for the moon. This is a nice follow-up to the previous episode, where the moon, which symbolizes her future, seemed so far away to her, even if she tried reaching for it. But now, the moon is closer, not only spatially, but also symbolically. Meanwhile, the female villain turns to the main villain, wondering what they should do. In the process, she reveals that his name is Amethio. Amethio says that they will give chase, and to do this, they send out 2 Skarmory and a Corviknight. Liko soon realizes that some crazy things just went down, but she got so caught up in all the chaos that she forgot to question it. She tries to get the man to let her go, but they soon reach an airship, which he introduces as the Brave Asagi. The wing deck, which looks like a battlefield, is soon deployed, which allows Charizard to land on the airship. Liko, Sprigatito, and the man are soon greeted by a woman and another man, who berate the first man for leaving Liko in the dark about what's going on. In the process of reproaching him, they reveal that his name is Friede. The woman then introduces herself as Molly, and the man introduces himself as Murdoch. A Fuecoco and a Pommy soon join the greeting party. This thrills Liko greatly, revealing that she loves Pokemon a lot. She then wonders why there are Pokemon from Paldea here. Murdoch says that during their journey, these Pokemon settled here, and it's not just Pokemon from Paldea. Since the Pokemon clearly feel at ease here, Liko realizes that these people are not evil. Meanwhile, Sprigatito becomes quick friends with the other Pokemon, which is adorable. Liko briefly loses her composure when she sees such cuteness, but she reminds herself that she needs to focus on finding out what's happening. But before she can get any answers, Friede is notified that they are being followed by Amethio and his associates. Friede decides to head to the wheelhouse so that he can drive the airship away from their pursuers. He takes Charizard and Murdoch with him so that they can help. He leaves behind Noctowl to keep an eye out for danger and Molly to look after Liko and the Pokemon. Orla, who oversees the engine room, says that a storm is coming, and so she will need more firepower to power through it. So Friede sends Charizard to her so that it can help with this. Amethio and company soon find the airship, and they decide to keep up the chase despite the coming storm. They eventually get close enough that Noctowl spots them, and it notifies Molly just as the airship experiences a blackout, though she is still able to use a telescope to get a closer look at their pursuers, who she identifies as the Explorers. Meanwhile, Friede gets to the wheelhouse where he relieves the airship's captain, a Pikachu, of his duty. With Friede at the helm, Orla, Charizard, and Fuecoco doing their best to give the airship power, and with Molly and Murdoch offering moral support, the Brave Asagi heads into the storm in order to give the Explorers the slip. However, Amethio refuses to give up, and he commands his fellow Explorers to use the airship as cover so that they can make their approach. The plan works, and they begin to try forcing their way into the wing deck. Friede has Murdoch take the helm, and he heads out to face the Explorers alongside Captain Pikachu, though he stops by the engine room to get Charizard. Since there is no power, Molly is forced to try retracting the wing deck manually. But before she can do this, the Explorers manage to get in. Liko laments the fact that all the Pokemon are suffering due to her presence here. Soon, she finds herself cornered by Amethio and the other Explorers. Amethio questions Liko repeatedly, wondering why she ran, if she thinks she can trust Friede and the others, and why the pendant was shining. Liko says that she does not know the answers to any of these questions, but she does know that she cannot trust him. Sprigatito soon leaps into action, but it's soon caught. To save it, Liko offers to hand over the pendant. Amethio obliges, but he mentions that at first they were only after the pendant. However, the pendant clearly has a secret, and Liko has to do with it. Therefore now, they are taking her as well. Since doing this will spare the Pokemon from further suffering, Liko agrees to go with Amethio, and she bids farewell to the Pokemon while assuring them that they will be fine. The Explorers get ready to leave with Liko. Molly tries to stop them, but Friede appears. He tells Molly to look after the Pokemon and he faces the Explorers. Friede and Amethio introduce themselves to each other, with Friede stating that he is the leader of the Rising Boat Tacklers. Since Amethio wants to take Liko and Friede won't let him, they decide to resume their battle. However, this time, Friede opts to use Captain Pikachu instead of Charizard. This makes Amethio think that he is being underestimated. Like before, Amethio uses Ceruledge. Captain Pikachu strikes first with Thunder Punch, but Ceruledge easily shrugs off the hit. Captain Pikachu then uses Double Team to charge towards Ceruledge, who uses Psycho Cut to decimate the clones. But Captain Pikachu appears behind it with Thunder Punch at the ready. Ceruledge uses Bitter Blade to hit Captain Pikachu, who turns out to be a clone. The real one is at the highest point of the airship, where a thunder soon strikes it. Using the power from this thunder, Captain Pikachu uses Bolt Tackle, which pushes Ceruledge all the way to the edge. But Ceruledge counters with Psycho Cut, which ends up hitting the place where Molly and the Pokemon are hiding. This forces Liko to stop the battle. She reiterates that she is giving herself up so that no one else gets hurt. She then says that surely Sprigatito agrees with her decision. But this turns out to be false. Sprigatito berates her, which makes her realize that she was lying to herself. And Sprigatito knew this. It could see how she really felt. What she really wants to do is fight back, which they do with an extremely powerful Leaf Age that forces Amethio and the other explorers to retreat. However, unfortunately, Sprigatito slides off the airship, and while it is saved by Amethio and his Scorpionite, it is ultimately kidnapped by them. The episode ends with Liko screaming for Sprigatito in anguish. So, that's the short but detailed summary of the episode. Now it's time to highlight, analyze, and comment on my favorite moments and or moments that are noteworthy/interesting. I now like Liko even more as a character, since this episode showed that while she is indeed the complete opposite of Ash personality-wise, they do share one thing: an unyielding love for Pokemon that makes them feel both a lot of excitement when they meet new Pokemon, and it also makes them do anything, even sacrificing themselves or putting themselves in extreme danger in order to save them. However, they express this love in different ways. While Ash reacts with unbridled joy when he sees Pokemon, Liko reacts in the most innocent and adorable way possible. She thinks that they are extremely cute, which makes her briefly lose her composure. But she quickly holds herself back in order to remain focused. At the same time, her way of putting herself in harm's way for the sake of Pokemon is different to Ash's. While Ash would literally throw himself into the fray head first, Liko finds a more reasonable way to put herself at risk, which makes her feel more grounded, realistic, and relatable. So, the way they show their love for Pokemon is different. It matches their distinct personalities, which means that they are both great characters and protagonists, but in their own unique way, which makes Liko a breath of fresh air while still making her feel like a worthy carrier of the torch left by Ash. Also, in the end, Liko did not want to just roll over and accept her fate. Instead, she opted to defy Amethio. She chose to fight back, which is what Ash would have done. Showing that, like I said in my review of episode 1, contrary to what it appears, Liko is not helpless. She definitely has the will to fight and to overcome. I also like the other characters. Friede is very cool, Molly is nice and caring, Murdoch is friendly and funny, Orla is energetic and spirited, and Captain Pikachu is just a badass. Even Amethio is likable despite being the bad guy, since he has principles. He could have made both of his battles against Friede a 3 versus 1 affair, but instead he told his associates to stay back so that he can settle things the honorable way, 1-on-1. He also let Sprigatito go once Liko surrendered, showing that he is not completely heartless. Plus, he is very cool, just like Friede. The animation continues to be top-notch, especially during battles. When there is action, everything just looks sharper and more realistic than in previous series. Hopefully, this will remain the standard. Finally, I honestly was not expecting to see a new Pokemon. I wonder if this Pokemon was created specifically for the anime and it will eventually be added to the games, or is this a Pokemon that will be introduced in one of the 2 expansions announced for Scarlet and Violet, and they are just giving us a sneak peek of it while also hyping it up. But those are my thoughts on and analysis of the episode. Now it's time to bring this review to a close by going over my overall opinion of the episode. So overall, this was another fantastic episode. It managed to make the mysteries and the characters introduced in the first episode even more compelling and interesting, while still maintaining the awesome animation and heart that also enhanced the first episode. Throw in a few very unexpected surprises and you get an episode that was simply amazing. I continue to be hugely invested in this new series, and I really cannot wait to see what will happen next. But that's the review and the video. So, as always, leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.